Hello and welcome today. We are working on the soundtrack of our lives. So a couple old CDs here inspiring me. Anybody remember making mixed tapes? Found one of those stashed around the house too. Hey Carla, so glad you could pop on. I'm really excited about next week and chatting with you live here next Wednesday, 10 o'clock again, Central Time, about the healing power of music. So today I thought in preparation for that, we'd focus in on an art activity about the soundtrack of our life. So again, focusing on music. So I thought that would be a good prep for our talk next week with Carla, a music therapist. I also think it's kind of funny, and I'll probably mention it again next week, that my mom was a music therapist as well. So today, the soundtrack of our lives. I don't know if any of you have any old CDs laying around or remember making any mixtapes growing up. I know people are probably mostly doing it all digital now with SoundCloud and Pandora, making your own, even YouTube, making your own playlists. And if you actually go to my YouTube channel, I've got a couple different music playlists that I keep adding to. It's fun because you can get music from all different generations. One thing I remember growing up, and I'll date myself here, is I remember flipping through and being so excited to get my CD finally, and then it was always exciting for me. I would flip it open and I would pull out the cover, and inside they would have obviously the list of the songs, but even better than that, they had the words of the song so you could sing along. I don't know, I enjoyed that. So I thought a couple different things we could do today. If you have an old CD, you could actually cut out some paper, or you could take, if you don't have the CD anymore, you could take the actual paper from the CD thing and make art right on top of it and create your own little playlist. You could buy a CD and burn your personal playlist on there and then create its own jacket. I didn't have any records today, so sorry. Couldn't find any records. The vinyl records I know are coming back, but they also had their covers full of things. If you have a mixtape, you could decorate that too if you want, but I don't know anybody with a cassette player anymore, so I'm just going to set that off to the side. That was just a good little bit of nostalgia. So in thinking about music from our lives, a couple different directions to go with that. You could, well, actually, I'm going to bring these back up. A lot of them tend to have a picture of the artist on the cover. Some are a little bit more artistic, and they go with the theme for the record, the CD, the playlist, and they grab other images online. Some are more like doodles that you could create. Some get a little bit more abstract, all sorts of things. Some are by theme, like season. You could do a seasonal one. You could do a lullaby one for different stages. You could do a different playlist for each different stage of your life. Baby, toddler, or different states you lived in, or like your college years, your high school years. Or you could do one that encompasses your whole life. So let me just write down some of these. This is my mom's old stationery. We have so much of it at our house. My grandpa was a printer, so he would give her gifts of her own personal stationery. So I thought that appropriate today. So let's see. We could do a playlist. Maybe we should just do playlist instead of soundtrack. So a playlist. We could do one that encompasses your whole life, different stages. So this could be like ages. So like high school, elementary school, infancy. So that might be like lullabies, college, etc., etc. You could do it seasonal. So that would be like your Christmas. Maybe there's birthdays. You could just do your current playlist. There could be an inspirational playlist, a calming playlist. You could do, so yeah, I'm going to cross this out and put an emotional one, because then that could branch off into calming, energizing, things like that. Like when you need to calm yourself down after a stressful day and you just need to mellow out, or you need to clean the house and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got no energy. So going to your energizing playlist might be good. So all kinds of things you can do with music and your playlist. All right, so with the stages and the seasons, it might just be music that was always playing in the background of your life. What music was playing at Christmas in your houses? Or around birthdays? Or maybe it was more like a winter, summer type thing. What music was playing in the background of your life when you were a little one, or in elementary school, or high school, or college? What was that music that was playing back there? Can you recall some of those songs? And I will put a YouTube playlist together and put that link in my newsletter for anybody who's interested in that. And it'll obviously be on my YouTube channel as well, but I'll put a direct link and I'll try to create my own little playlist for you guys. But it's amazing when I have gone back and brainstormed the songs that popped into my mind and then listened to them on YouTube or Pandora or something, the memories that flood back. It's literally like a time machine. So I encourage you, and there's so much emotional healing that can take place when you do that. It changes the mood of a room. It brings back different memories. I think I remember reading somewhere that people with Alzheimer's, if you play music from different eras in their life, even though they couldn't tell you the story, if you play the music from that era in their life, they can tell you the story or they can sing along. As soon as you stop the music, they can't remember anymore. So it's interesting how music locks different things into our lives. So for me, I think today there's a couple images I found. Collage, again, I'm going to go with collage because that's quite easy to do real quickly. There were a couple images that popped into my mind as very inspirational. I've liked this image for a long time. I know it's about a telephone, but it was also round, reminding me of a CD cover. And I was thinking, oh goodness, what could I do about what songs does this bring back to me in my mind? I could put plain paper on the back, or I could just glue this on a piece of paper and write all the songs that seem to connect me with memories, with grandparents and with family. And obviously there's other circle ones. I don't know why circle was, maybe I was just thinking, vinyl record and CDs. Could do a playlist about travels. And so I could cut this out and I could write the different songs in there. So you don't have to do any drawing for this. You could do all collaging. You could do one again about seasons, places in your life you've been, things like that, things that inspire you. Recently, I got a letter in the mail from a friend of mine who lost her husband, and she sent it in this card, and inside she said, "He's always with me. It's like there's an elephant in every room." And I thought, what a great idea this could, if I wanted to make a playlist that brought back memories in my life of this couple, I feel like I would put this on the front. I'd write the playlist. I might even print up the lyrics to the songs or write down memories that those songs bring up about this couple. Maybe I would call it The Final Farewell. So I could rip these things out. I could cut them out. I could glue them together. And then this is a special photo of Bob who died, and I feel like I would put that, on the back. So on the discs, they often have, a backside. And records, there's always a backside that lists the songs again and puts a little, copyright or something like that. So I feel like I'd do a little something like that on the back. So that's another idea. Grab things with patterns, grab your mail, pull out images that kind of bring out the same emotion as the songs that are on your list. I pulled this one right off of a calendar that I got in the mail. Junk mail can be so valuable. Oh, another idea I had was if you were going to do it about yourself and you didn't want to actually put photos in there, you could grab some tracing paper. You can even find thin tissue paper. I don't know what I got this from, but it's a huge piece of tissue paper, and you can actually see through it enough to trace. So you could have the outline of something, but it wouldn't just be on, clear or white tracing paper. You could have it on a colored tissue paper, just for a different look. So you could print out photos of yourself at different ages and trace them right on there. Get out some paper here. I like this idea today of a circle, so I'm gonna go with it. I have a watercolor pencil here today, and I'm just gonna trace. Obviously I could trace, I'm gonna trace both sides. And I'm gonna give this a really good, I was pressing pretty hard because I wanted a bunch of ink on there for what I'm gonna do a little bit later. If you do pen, it'll be great because it will hold up to any water you put on. I'm gonna go with the Inktense pencils today. So I like these because they feel easy to use because they're like pencils, so I have a lot of control over the medium here with the Inktense, or you could use watercolor pencils, same idea. Thinking of the songs that might go on my list. What would be a song that you might want to be the first one on your playlist? Don't feel like you have to come up with this playlist in order. You can brainstorm it, and I found that like one song led to another that sparked a memory of another. There was a song that came to mind as I walked yesterday about a bear. It was a repeat song. So the other day, I met a bear. And I remember singing that song with my mom she came as a guest musician to, I think it was kindergarten or first grade class. And I have a lot of memories of singing this song. Don't know why. It's kind of a silly song that pulls back so many memories. I can actually smell the room. I can see the other people in that room. It's quite powerful how that goes. Salty's songs with Charity Church Mouse comes up. Oh, so many of those songs. So I think to represent these things, I'm just going to use my Inktense and do some kind of a figure of a bear to represent the bear song. So these that looks kind of like a pig right now. It's okay to laugh at yourself a little bit. Can't get these perfect. Don't worry. So you could collage this, you can draw these things. So for the bear, I also want to put like some trees in here because there's a silly story about that bear in the song chasing the person up a tree. But just, enjoy this process, enjoy the memories as they come up. Salty was this like blue, I think it was a hymn book or something. I just remember a blue box, so I'm not going to try to make it something that I don't remember. And he had a little Charity Church Mouse was his little sidekick. Like she had a big old bow in her hair and probably a skirt, right? That would seem to make sense. So obviously these are from when I was pretty little. There's, as I think forward, Simon Garfunkel. Oh, Sound of Music, yeah. That was a big one. My mom used to watch that movie over and over. So, ooh, the cover of that one. I should put that one on here. Sound of Music. Oh, Camelot was another big one that played in our life. So you could actually, for these that have like whole movies, find the song that resonates most with you and write it on here. But you could also print out from the internet an image from that movie, and you could throw those right here. Camelot was about King Arthur, and then Sound of Music was another big one. What comes to mind for Sound of Music for me for an image is when she's up in the hills singing with her arms out and the mountains are back here. Well, I guess it's the opening scene, isn't it? But they go up to those mountains a couple other times in the story too. That's a good movie. It's weird how some of them they're there, but you forget about them at different times. In Collage, the Stillwater River, Chris and Johnny, Story Hill. Loved that one. And then there was Chris Rice, and there was a song about daring to dream, and there was this fly in there. So I drew the little fly over the Stillwater River to remind me of that music. So this is just, examples for you guys to spin off. And I encourage you, create your own playlist, see what comes up for you, pay attention to the emotions that are coming up with you, and just enjoy this project. In my newsletter, I'll have some other ideas of how you could take it a little bit further and why it's a good thing to remember what songs are part of your life and how this, why is it important that they resonate with you? How do they affect your current mood? What things do they lock into your memory and into your body? And this is a great activity for people who maybe are a little bit more resistant to talking about emotions or about memories. It gets fun. You get to see the music that they think was most important and how they arrange it onto their soundtrack, onto their CD cover or their playlist. And there's lots of things. You can find commonalities amongst people with this activity. And it's really interesting as I was going through this, and I don't know if you guys will find this true for yourself as well. It's interesting to see these, if you think of it as a whole, how it transforms from these early music to kind of these middle musics that are, who's influencing your music choice? Like Camelot was always playing in my grandparents' van. Always. I don't know why. Maybe it's the only tape they had for their van. But it brings up so many things about them. And I didn't see that movie for probably a solid decade after I already had memorized the music because it was always in their car. But it's interesting to see how the music of other people is playing in the background of your life and how that affects your life moving forward. And then what kind of songs are playing in your soundtrack now? What kind of songs are you choosing? I actually realized, was it a month ago, that I hardly listen to music. I'm listening to so many books, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to find some more music. That's when maybe it was more like 6 months ago that I really realized that and started making some playlists on my computer to try to listen to it again. So their old classical music might be there. And then, of course, there's holiday music. And it's interesting how that holiday music is, for me, it's interesting at least, that it's my grandparents' music. And I hardly ever listen to new stuff. It's the old stuff that makes me feel like I'm in a holiday mood. So finding some of those specific songs will be something I want on my soundtrack here. And sometimes you want more instrumental things. What actually is playing in the background, and maybe you don't choose it. Maybe it's just, what plays at work. What music do they choose at work? And how does that resonate with your life? Does it seem to affect your emotions or your mood or your thought patterns or how you work? Exercise. I forgot to write that on this list here. So what about your exercise music? Which things do you choose to put on in the background? And which things are chosen for you to be playing in the background of your day-to-day stuff? And maybe there's a song that you have on this playlist that actually doesn't play in the background. It just is such a good story in the song or such a good beat in the song that it seems to really resonate with what you want your life to be like or what you feel like your life is like. So a couple ideas on how to think through music, how to pay attention to the music in your life, and to develop your own soundtrack. And maybe you do some art and actually create a cover for your playlist, or maybe you go online and just start forming your own playlist. Let me know what you think of this idea, and if you go ahead and make it, maybe you already have the playlist, maybe you want to share it with somebody. But why is music important to you? How does it resonate with your life? What songs from the different places of your life really remind you of those stages of life? What message right now is playing in the music of your life? So, take care. Thanks for coming on. Next week, 10 o'clock on Wednesday, 10 o'clock Central Time, Carla, the music therapist, is going to be our live guest, and she's going to talk about the healing power of music. So take care. I'll see you next time.